It was like 2 or 3 hours of just solid paperwork, and that was really an uneventful first day.
When did things get weird? When did you realize? Like, at what point in time did you say, "Hey, this is not"?
I read through the documents, but I didn't know if this was part of some kind of test or or what, or was it potentially realistic? I mean, I really didn't consider it being all that possible as far as being the actual thing that I was going to work on at the time.
How did they
like that? And, in some respects, we were guinea pigs, just try to find out how to make this thing.
So they had a series, as far as you surmised, they had a series of different scientists try to back engineer this thing, try to figure out what this thing was, and they would bring in new people and like, let's throw Bob at it.
Yeah.
We had this conversation, and I said, I have to talk to him.
Yeah.
The document, there's been detractors. There's been a bunch of people that called bullshit on many of the things that you've said, but over time, many of the things that you talked about, even in the 80s, have proven to be true. Things that people size of this thing.
I don't remember from being there, but after all this stuff was over, I had John Andrews, a guy from the Testers Model Corporation, and we sat down and tried to figure out from what I saw and known sizes of things, and we came up with 52 feet in diameter.
So if anybody wants to check it out, and if you're one of those people like me who, I've always loved the idea of UFOs, I became extremely weary talking to people who are UFO believers and UFO fanatics because there's so many of them that are full of shit. And not just full of shit, they're it
was archaeological.
Well, one of the more recent sightings and these discussions that have been coming out recently from Air Force pilots and Navy pilots, they've been talking about things happening in the ocean. And that something literally goes into the water, or something maybe below the surface
You're thinking
of the
about
water.
2004
watching this thing. But, one of the things I think in the gimbal video, the way the craft that we worked on flies is it doesn't fly like a conventional aircraft does, and it doesn't fly
intelligence. There's silicon-based life forms that they're essentially trying to create. Boston Dynamics, or was it Boston Dynamics at the company that's making those crazy robots? Yeah.
You can make machines out of flesh, right? So a cyborg or a cybernetic organism is just that, that's what a lot of people think those like gray things are, that people call the grays.
Yeah.
Is like
And if you examine all the information that you've said today, if you look at all the things that the detractors have said, if you look at all of the new recent evidence that's coming out, and all these really high-level people in the military and the government that are discussing this, it gives you far more credibility than you would have had in the 1980s when this came out.
Fuck yes, you can't.
That's difficult.
If we imagine what this alien race must have been like, and how, I mean, God, just to be able to see something, obviously we've seen it in different life forms, right? Like we see the life of.
If you think somehow we came up with this thing, then you got to tell me why we did it.
Well, you've done a great job of making sure you have your bases covered in that regard, that you haven't profited off of this, and like you said, that you have donated whatever money that came your way to science programs.
And in 60 seconds on radar, the same object ends up there.
So it's going a mile a second.
No, I think the radar just picked it up in 60 seconds.
Yeah, it could have been there instantly, but
we don't know.
The cycle time.
Nobody knows. That's the whole thing.
So it cycles, like radar cycles?
Like it's a piece of information.
What's fascinating to me, too, is that you were discussing this, the way this reactor worked, and that these things were not really connected.
No, nothing is connected. There's no. Yeah, I know again, but that's just simple electromagnetic induction.
Right, but I mean, Tesla, the scientist, had this concept of
right. That's
what he's,
yeah.
That's what I'm talking about.
I mean, for other people that don't know what we're saying, that he wanted to send wireless electricity through the sky, and Westinghouse was like, "Get the fuck out of here with that."